I die. I never meant perfection. I never even tried. But if you wanna see it, and if you wanna feel it, we'll make sense of all this fiction. 'Cause when I botch, I mean it.
Good evening and welcome to the Botchcast for SummerSlam 2022. I am your host Stuart Garrard, and joining me as always is my tag partner, Jimmy the Saint. Oh shit, I need to react.
Don't worry about it. Well, yeah. Yes, Stu, yes. Can we do a tag? Yes, tag me in, buddy. I'm here, I'm hot and I'm here.
Oh, Woo. Jimmy, it's a hot one. It's the biggest party of the summer, isn't it? SummerSlam. It's in my bedroom and in your conservatory.
How exciting.
Yep, that's what it is. We're here just go on.
That's the biggest party of the summer? Your bedroom and my conservatory? Yep. Jesus.
Yep. If this is your first time with us, this is the Botchcast, our wrestling-specific spin-off show where we discuss predominantly WWE, but if there's something big happening elsewhere, I'm sure we'll cover it. But if you are a fan of wrestling and you enjoy our show, then please do give us a like and subscribe. Tag those like and subscribe buttons for us. That'd be much appreciated. But with that being said, let's talk about the SummerSlam Premium Live Event.
Yes.
Jimmy, SummerSlam this year emanated from, I forget the...
Nashville, wasn't it?
Well, I know it's I know
Tennessee?
Nashville. Yes, but I don't know what the building... I like to get the building name in there.
I think it was the
like
Bluegrass Hall.
Wasn't it like the Tennessee Titans Stadium?
Probably.
I think that might be right. Yes, it was a big bowl like American football stadium. The set was incredible. I don't know how many people were there, but it looked great. You know, it looked like one of the big four should look that the WWE produce. It's what they do best. You know, these big, lavish productions for us.
Agreed. That's what I think AEW's missing.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment, Jimmy.
Their premium live events look exactly the same as their weekly show, and I don't like that. I want their premium live events to look like WWE, you know. And that's, you know, they'll get there.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to do this. Hang on.
Just you do what you want, Stu. Do what you want. We're here. It's the biggest party of the summer. It's SummerSlam.
Yeah.
You know, it was a massive event. I was excited about it, Stu. I was excited. Despite people going, oh, this is going to be the same old rubbish, Brock versus Roman again, blah, blah, blah. But obviously we had the massive build-up of Vinnie Mac resigning. We had Triple H taking over of creative. We had Stephanie McMahon taking over as CEO, co-CEO with, what's his name, Nick Khan. So lots of changes. So there was high hopes, I think, for the SummerSlam.
Yeah. Forgive me, I'm just trying to realign on my screens here so I can get... We've produced some match card graphics for you. I mean, we're going to have them
lovely
up whilst we discuss each of the matches in turn. Match one being kicking off the show was the Raw Women's Championship match. Big time Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair.
The EST.
Yeah.
Give her a full name, Stu.
The EST of WWE, Bianca Belair.
I love Bianca Belair.
Yeah,
I love Bianca Belair.
A good match to kick the show off. You know, one of the you know, because I think it's fair to say the ladies play, I would say, but probably a more prominent role than the men at the moment in the WWE. They seem to finish most of the weekly shows.
Do they?
And yeah, they do. Yeah, a lot of the segments, you know, the sent home segments on Raw and SmackDown involve the women. A fantastic women's roster on Raw, and the title match of which kicked off SummerSlam for us this year. Bianca Belair coming in as champ, having a great kind of story. You know, people go on about WWE not having long-term storytelling, but this this is a culmination of a year. You know, Becky Lynch coming back in last SummerSlam, kind of, some say stealing the title off Bianca Belair.
Yeah, that was a weird one, wasn't it?
And then kind of they've had this like ongoing rivalry on and off throughout the year, and kind of this felt like Belair's time to fully redeem herself. You know, getting that win over as she did. Becky Lynch at SummerSlam in this match. But yeah, I enjoyed it as a match. It didn't start too well for me. The timing seemed a bit off for them. Some stuff seemed a bit sloppy to begin with, but maybe that was nerves, maybe that was the occasion. I don't know. I think it's fair that would probably happen, but yeah. But as the match went on and they both got into the match, it drastically improved for me. You know, yeah. So I came around and loved it in the end. What did you think of the match in itself, Jimmy?
Yes, I agree. Like, I was excited by it. I love Bianca Belair. I think she's a genuine superstar. She's super strong. She's athletic.
Yeah.
When she puts moves on, they look. You know, she looks like she's trying to hurt people. She's charismatic. She's emotional. When she wins, you believe that she is so happy to win. Mm-hmm. I can follow her story. And, you know, Becky Lynch has been great since she got her nose busted open by old Big Chops. What's her name? Nia Jax. Sloppy Jax, who fucking hurt everyone and got sacked.
Sloppy Jack's Big Chops. I like that as a gimmick. That could be good. Sloppy Chops, yeah.
Sloppy chop, you know, like...
yeah.
I'm talking about chops.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Not that kind of stuff.
No. Gee, okay. What did I call her?
Sloppy Chops.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yes, so Big Time Bex, she's been great for so long, and this new heel character, she does it well. It's not my favourite character of her. I like her when she's a sort of tweener like Stone Cold, but it's still good. She does it well. It's been interesting, and you're right. It was a culmination from SummerSlam. She, Bianca won as she should have. I agree with you that it was a little bit slow to start off with. I actually had a WWE Virgin sat next to me.
Did you?
When I watched it, and I don't mean one of my children because they've all watched loads of WWE. I'm talking about
I'm glad you clarified it.
No, the German.
Move on.
The German who sometimes comes to my house. He watched this with me because I was like, him and his wife were watching. What were they watching? I think they were watching The Mummy Returns, and my wife was in VR, I think. And I said, if no one minds, I'm going to go around the corner and watch SummerSlam. And he went, I will watch it with you. And I was like, you sure? And he's like, yeah. He's up for anything, man. He's a great laugh. So we watched it, and he got into it. You know, he did get into it. Because I said, you're lucky that these are two of the best women there are. And once it got going, I thought it was great. And then... the right person won, and then obviously we had the aftermath, which I thought was great.
We did. Well, let's get into that. So, cue the big return, the video playing on the massive. No, it wasn't, mate. It was kind of a tiny screen, wasn't it? But Bayley returned, but she didn't come alone. Out popped Dakota Kai and Io Sky, as she's now been labelled. So these kind of three. Bayley obviously returning from injury. Dakota Kai was released, I believe, wasn't she?
I think so, yeah.
Time ago, so she's back. Obviously, Triple H is one of the kind of hallmarks of his early tenure. Is he's bringing a lot of these kind of NXT stars that were let go back into the fold. Yeah. Dakota Kai, Karrion Kross, as we saw on a few weeks from SummerSlam.
Well, imagine how much budget you threw up if you sacked John Laurinaitis.
I know, yeah, quite. Yeah,
you'd bring back about 10 wrestlers on on what he was on.
Yeah,
and all those sexual scandals monies. You know,
exactly. The savings are immense. So yeah, we got the threesome of Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky confronting Bianca Belair in the ring, and then in comes Becky Lynch to kind of like join forces with Bianca Belair. So kind of like feels like there's a face turn happening there with Becky. But
Had she already done a handshake before?
Yes, she did.
She shook her hand, and
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, good stuff, good sportsmanship." And then then that happened, and she came in, and they faced off, didn't they?
They did. What I didn't like about this was the fact that the three newbies who had just been revealed kind of then just went, whoa, no, and backed off. I didn't like that. I would have liked them to like decked and laid out Belair and Becky, big time Becky Lynch, in the ring. I felt that it looked a bit weak for them just to withdraw. There was only two of them. Just withdraw and say, "Oh no, not for us." You know, that was a bit odd.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, it's that the sneaky villain is never sort of supposed to be as strong as the heel, really, unless they're like the muscle or whatever.
Yeah.
But I get it. Yeah, they probably should have run in and decked Bianca.
Yeah.
And then and then Bex could have come in and made the save.
Yeah.
With a chair.
Yeah, something like that. I just didn't like how it went over. But I think on subsequent shows, I've liked kind of how they've taken this feud forward, or potential feud forward. I know Becky Lynch has picked up an injury, so she's kind of removing herself from that storyline, and in have come Alexa Bliss and Asuka. And
Really?
They're going to have a 3 versus 3 tag match at Clash at the Castle. So that could be that should be good.
Nice.
You know, some 6 very good competitors in there. The second match of the evening was The Miz versus Logan Paul, or Paul Hogan, as we have coined him on the Botchcast. Yes, The Miz versus Logan Paul. This was your surprise of the night, is it fair to say, Jimmy?
Yeah, I mean, so Logan Paul is for anyone who doesn't know, is a YouTuber, YouTube star. He also came in and he was working out and had a fight against Mayweather, right? The boxer Mayweather.
Yep, correct.
So genuinely quite a brave guy to get into a boxing ring with any professional boxer, for Christ's sake. And then he had a tag team match with The Miz at, was it a Mania?
It was, yep.
Up against the Mysterios. And
Yes.
Miz turned on Logan Paul. But Logan Paul at that Mania match put on a sterling effort. And then this was Logan Paul's retaliation to The Miz for turning on him. He's been signed by WWE. And again, I had the German with me. And I was absolutely blown away by Logan Paul's, I don't even want to say
athleticism.
attempt. Everything.
Yeah.
He looked great. Look at him. He's a good looking guy. Not going to take that away from him. He was ripped. He did some moves that The Miz would never do. He sold. He was in it like it was a real thing. I thought he was incredible. And like loads of people won't want to like him because he's a YouTube star, and he came from, one of the big things that made him famous was when he found that dead body in that forest in Japan, right? So he's a scumbag, he's a leech. But, so are loads of YouTubers. They're just doing what they're trying to do to make some money. I mean, Stu, we wouldn't go into a forest to find a fucking dead body. We're not in the film Stand By Me, Christ. But he was incredible. And I was like, I'm behind this. If he wouldn't have come from YouTube and that would have been his call up from wherever, you'd totally believe he'd been doing it for ages.
Believe. That's a good term. You can believe his skill in the ring, don't you? And you believe that he's a credible threat to these other wrestlers. You don't think, oh, that's just unbelievable that he would beat The Miz. He's so good in the ring. I hate to say it. He is so good. That frog splash he did through the table.
Yes.
Just like so smooth. Like all his moves are just so clean, and I hate to say it, but the boy's got some skills. I
think sometimes you get people like him and McAfee and even Shane McMahon who wrestling's not their first thing. They don't have to do it every night. So they'll go, I'll jump for a table. Yeah. I'll do that. Like they'll take some risks that maybe other wrestlers won't because they know they've got to wrestle 4 more nights, that week or whatever.
Yeah.
So he took some big. I mean, did he jump? He jumped from the turnbuckle onto the announce desk, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
That's a big old jump, man. I was literally popping on most of his moves. He was really good, really surprised, and he won as well, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He got a pinfall victory over The Miz.
And I didn't want him to win. I thought he should probably lose because of Miz being a professional wrestler and him being a YouTuber.
The one thing I'd say is I think I would prefer Logan Paul as a heel. I don't think he's a character you can kind of support and get behind.
No, you're right, because he's a YouTuber. Who wants a babyface YouTuber like going in and doing well? You want to see him get his face bashed in.
Yeah. So I think it's fine, to have him come in for his first kind of match since WrestleMania and his first match since signing a contract as a face, because he's kind of that attraction, isn't he? But I think going forward, I think he has to do something dastardly to turn him heel and make him a heel that gets a lot of heat. Because I think he'd be quite good at that.
Yeah, I agree.
Naturally a bit of a cunt.
Yeah, I 100% agree. You can have him promoting it on his YouTube channel. He can be the YouTuber that people want to fucking beat up. Absolutely, do it. You're right there, Stu. But
do you know what?
What a talent.
In many ways, he could be. I can't imagine the Miz has too much longer. Are you feeling the heat in that straw hat? I don't know how much longer the Miz has of his career, how much longer he wants to do this, but you could see Logan Paul being the next evolution of that kind of character. The guy who hangs around with celebrities and he's got the money, he's got the fame,
yes.
He gets the women. I think it's telling that they linked him up with the Miz, because I think they could be quite close in character, to be fair.
Sure, I think you're absolutely right there, because the Miz came from reality TV, didn't he? He was on the Real World.
Yeah.
And people hated him, and you could do that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Turn him heel and have him as the new Miz and sign him up, because he's bloody good.
Yeah. The third match of the evening was the US title match. So I'm just looking for the graphic for that. Here we go. Which was Bobby Lashley, the champ, versus Theory. Here we go. Lashley versus Theory.
I'm still hating that he's just called Theory. I hate it. I hate that. It's interesting, because since the takeover of Triple H on creative, Theory hasn't been pushed a great deal. In fact, I can't remember. Has he even been on TV? I don't think he has for a while. I'm not sure.
It's interesting. But he has this title match. He's got the Money in the Bank briefcase. The storyline coming into this was that he was teasing how he was going to cash in and capitalize on the Lesnar versus Reigns match and take the titles. More on that later, obviously. But he also had this match to get out the way first. Lashley won the match quite convincingly. It wasn't a massively long match, if I remember right.
No, he smashed the shit out of Theory, which he should have done, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what it says for Theory though. I don't know where his future lies, really.
I agree. I don't know. I guess he's a sneaky heel, but I don't want to see him get the belt with the Money in the Bank. I'd rather see him hold it for a long time. I like build
Theory.
Him up.
Do you like Theory? I like him as a character. I think he wrestles okay, and I think he plays that sneaky heel quite well.
I think my issue is the selfie gimmick.
Okay.
We had it with Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate? That was his name, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Years ago, he'd come on with his selfie stick, filming it, and he'd do it properly.
Yeah.
He'd be flashing it around. You'd see it behind. He'd come and lay down. I've seen it done better. So him just taking selfies with, I don't think that's a good enough gimmick for him. And that was what annoys me. I'd if he got rid of that and had something else, I think I might prefer him.
Okay, that's fair. That's a fair comment. I mean, in terms of this match, Theory came out and went straight for Bobby with his briefcase before the bell. which is a good heel move, isn't it? You know, you smash in the America's champ Bobby Lashley with the briefcase. It's what you do as a heel.
In terms of a wrestler, I think he's very, very good.
I mean, this was almost a squash match, wasn't it? Lashley made him submit with the Hurt Lock, and Lashley retained. Quick and easy for Lashley. I think they're doing a good job of Lashley. I think they're building him up quite well. He had that match with Ciampa this week, which he won. So that another kind of spin-off from Triple H's. We didn't mention him in the Miz match. Ciampa is kind of getting his own time in the limelight. You know, he's been kind of sidelined with Miz for a while now. It's almost like Miz's valet, but now Triple H has assumed control of creative. Ciampa is obviously one of his favourite boys from the NXT days, and he's getting his time to shine. And
you didn't see him a lot in NXT, right, Stu? Ciampa?
No, that's fair. I didn't watch a great amount of the Triple H NXT days. Strangely enough, I'm watching more of it now, where it's at its worst. But there you go.
Do you know what, Stu? Ciampa in NXT was absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
amazing. His feud with Gargano is legendary, and I know you don't. I know, actually, I'm not going to say you. I know it's quite hard to go back and watch stuff when there's so much to watch. But if you watch any of his matches versus Gargano, you'll go, oh shit! I'll find the one that I saw. I think it was their third match. So good, Ciampa. This match with
do let me know, and I'll check it out on the network.
This match with Lashley I thought it was weird. It was weird having Austin in it. If he's got the money in the bank, why is he going for that belt?
Yeah.
I thought when they announced it, he's cashing in on the US. That's interesting. I guess they don't want to take the titles off the guys at the top. But he wasn't. I don't know. I found that a bit weird.
It was weird. It weakened him. It kind of put the brakes on his push. And that was the brakes were on even further come the end of the evening, I think, after what happened in the main event. I don't know where Theory stands now. It's like that he needs to kind of rebuild himself, rebuild a bit of his prestige and his character. But he's got the money in the bank. I assume he's going to lose it. I think it's inevitable that whenever he cashes in.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I mean. He should hold on to that for a while and use that.
I think he has to.
Yeah.
I think he has to, and build your character around that. Not like you say the selfie stuff. Make yourself like the sneaky, or am I going to cash in? Am I not? But maybe I don't think he can do anything with Reigns. I think that's just completely unbelievable that he would cash in and win against Roman Reigns.
Agreed.
But not to the point where the idea of it is just ridiculous. Let alone him doing it.
He's in God mode, Stu. You can't have a sneaky heel. Who would have to beat up? It would take Brock to beat up Reigns to the living shit. Do you know what I mean? For Theory to pin Reigns.
Yeah.
Because Reigns ain't going to have those shoulders down for a little Theory.
It's interesting. I don't quite know where they go with Reigns at this point, but we can have that conversation.
We'll get there.
Match 4 was the no disqualification tag match between Finn Balor and Damian Priest of Judgment Day versus the Mysterios, Dominic and Rey. Wasn't a bad match, this. I didn't mind it, to be honest. Very, very quick out the blocks. No DQ match. It was kind of a very frantic start between them both teams. But what I would say, my notes here say that very much a showcase for Mysterio. And Dominic felt like a gooseberry, is what I've put here.
Well, yeah, you've got.
He does a lot of the time, to be fair.
Well, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Like you've got 4 very talented wrestlers there, very, very talented. But Rey,
I'm assuming you're including Rhea Ripley and not Dominic Mysterio.
No, I think Dominic's good. He's
okay.
He's good. Oh yeah, no, I love Rhea. I kind of wish she wasn't in this team, really, because she's getting sidelined a bit. But Rey, I put on the group, didn't I? Like, how is he still the quickest person on the roster? He's so quick. I mean, how old is Ray now? He must be 50. He must be.
I don't know. Too. I'll have a look. Yeah.
I'm gonna say he's 50 years of age. That's what I'm gonna say.
Oh, I don't. I mean, he must be up there. 47. I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Right.
But regardless,
Yeah.
he's so quick. People
47.
Nailed it. People slow down, and I know
Yeah.
they say wrestlers are in their peak in their sort of mid to late 30s, really, isn't it? That's when they're at their peak. It's incredible watching him. He's no different. He's no different to what he was in the Attitude Era. He's so good, and you're right. His son cannot shine next to him. He can't, because Ray's a Hall of Famer. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's a genuine superstar. He's done it all. And if you're next to him, and you know he's got Dominic's got a little doughy face. He still looks like a kid. I'd rather he had a mask on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Ray. He's just so. You're right. It's difficult. It's a losing battle for Dominic, isn't it? Because Ray is just not only is he still really quick. He's so on it. It's so like everything's so clean and perfect. He hardly ever botches.
No. It's like in AEW, you've got the ass boys with their dad Billy Gunn, and he looks great. He looks great still, but they're quicker. You know, they're younger. They're a bit more spry. He's still tonk, and he's obviously on the old horse tranquilizers, but they can outshine him because he's older, and he's there. But if you're next to your dad and you're not as good as him. We just want to see Ray, don't we?
We do. The Mysterios picked up the pinfall, but they were aided and abetted by a returning Edge, who rose from the depths of hell, Brood style, with a sick new look, a red leather jacket on.
Yeah, short hair.
Had he cut his hair? He had to cut his hair, hadn't he?
Yeah, because he had long hair before he left, didn't he?
Absolutely decimated the Judgment Day. Allowing the Mysterios to pick up the pinfall victory. So, yeah, nice to see Edge back. Yeah, what did you think of his return?
Crap.
Did
I
you
like
really?
Edge a lot.
Did you not like this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Was it lackluster, do you think?
I thought it was just a bit boring. Yeah, a bit boring. Like, I love Edge. And when he came back for the Rumble, I popped massively. But this, it feels like he's only been gone. I don't know, how long has he been gone? A month? Didn't feel like he'd been gone that long.
Month and a half, maybe, yeah.
I don't know. I'd rather have Edge up the top with your Romans and Brocks and things like that. Like, I don't need him in this thing. Who's he going to put over? What's the end game here? I don't know. I want Edge at the top. I think he's a superstar and should be in that top echelon fighting for the belt. And he came out with his, rising up and just took them all out. And I think they should be building up Damian Priest, not Edge. Like Edge has probably got a few years left in him. Like, he should be up top and then build up Damian Priest up to the top. I don't know. It felt like Edge just came in and beat the shit out of Finn Balor, who's incredible, and Damian. I don't know. It just felt a bit wrong. Felt like the wrong place for these guys.
Yeah, that I think that's a fair comment. I think some of it was a bit. Was there a bit of disappointment there? I mean, obviously the video packages teasing his return. It was very clearly Edge, but
is that what they were? They were for Edge, were they? Those video packages.
But they knew what they were doing. In that, I think there was one of them. It was someone wrote on a mirror or something. I'm coming too. It's almost like they'd seen and heard the talk about, is this Bray? Is Bray coming back? So they teased that little moment. But then I think there was a moment on SummerSlam where you kind of saw the whole reveal of that little segment of video, and it says, I'm coming tonight. So, it's kind of that teasing you with something that you wanted, but then taking it away from you. That's like classic Vince stuff, isn't it? Let's
Yeah.
give them what they want. Let's tease it to them, but fuck them anyway. Because ultimately, I think Vince hated the. I think he hated the fans.
I don't think
Bastards.
these boys and Rhea have had enough time to do enough damage. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've turned on Edge. He went off with an injury. They've feuded with the Mysterios. Mm-hmm. And is that it?
Yeah. I do like what they're doing with Dominic. It's almost like they're trying to bring him into their cult. And they're doing this interesting thing now, subsequently from SummerSlam, is Rhea Ripley is kind of dominating Dominic every week.
Ooh, would you like to see him on a lead and shit?
Well, that's kind of the angle they're going with. And they're playing to like the internet wrestling community, kind of sharing memes about Rhea Ripley and, you know, how she pins opponents, you know, where she's kind of really dominating a lot of the ladies when she's pinning them, you know, as if she's pegging them, basically.
I like that. I like that.
So they're playing to all of that, and I think if they carry on that could be quite interesting.
Yes, Stu, I like that. Do you know what? I think they brought Edge back too early. They should have let this kit team beat the Mysterios, and I'd like to have seen her bring Dominic into the fold, get him away from his dad, bring him into the fold, put some sort of mohawk on him, and maybe one white eye, because his dad has the two pale eyes, doesn't he? Give him one eye, like David Bowie, one eye, white eye, mohawk, change up his look, have him join that thing with his dad trying to get him back. I know they had dad trying to get him back from Eddie Guerrero or whatever, but that was, you know, when he was a fucking kid. Like, have that and keep that going and save Edge for you know, the Rumble. Again, he can come back and smash them out in the Rumble and that's it. He knocks them out the Rumble and then he's going for something else. But I thought Edge, I think we've done a better storyline there than what they did.
Perhaps that was kind of Triple H saying, right, well, let's kind of resolve that storyline. Edge, you do what you need to do, and then kind of move on. Because they are, I suspect, what you've that excellent storyline you just laid out there is probably where it will go. I suspect Dominic will go into Judgment Day.
Well, you started it. I just stuck a contact lens on him, shaved his head, and got him on a leash.
Yeah, let's do that. Or failing that, dress him up as the Goblin King. If we're going with the David Bowie imagery. But yes, the Mysterios won that match by pinfall. Match 5 was Happy Corbin versus Pat McAfee.
Oh God, I didn't even know what to do with this.
I like a Pat McAfee match.
I love Pat McAfee. I don't know why he's not a wrestler. I do know because he's brilliant. That's the problem. He's really good on commentary and he's a good wrestler as well. But I don't think a commentator should be able to come in a ring and hold their own against a wrestler. Do you know what I mean? Like, otherwise they should be a wrestler. If you can hold your own in a wrestling ring, you should be a fucking wrestler.
That's an interesting comment. I'd never really thought about it like that. But you're right. I mean, in theory, because Corbin lost this match, where does that put Corbin?
That's what annoyed me even more so. Like, we had the YouTuber beat the Miz. The Miz is a fucking world champion, ex-world champion. Sorry, actually, he's a two-time, what they called, blockbuster. What's he done? He's won every belt, hasn't he, in the company twice?
Grand Slam.
Yeah. Miz has done that. Corbin has obviously been a Money in the Bank winner and US title and all the other things. Yeah. And a YouTuber beat the Miz and he played American football, Pat McAfee, but he's a YouTube guy, beat this Happy Corbin. And I was like, fuck, that was a bit of a calling card for me, with WWE being pure trying to get as many eyes on it as possible. Yeah. Rather than a wrestling show.
That's where the corporate image thing comes into it, isn't it? Like where the shareholders kind of do the booking in a sense. Which they're a massive company. I could see why they did it.
No, I know why they did it. It's just it's not
for you.
It's not good, is it? Like,
it was an entertaining match. I enjoyed the match. I enjoyed the show they put on. I appreciate what you're saying in the sense that, you know, it's not a good look for Corbin to have Corbin and The Miz lose in this way to superstars of this caliber. Maybe have one of them go over, but not both.
Yeah, I think that was it. I think Logan Paul should have probably lost by by, you know, Maurice getting involved, you know, at least.
The takeaway from this match for me really is kind of like the first inkling that how great Michael Cole was all evening. You know, he gets, you know, long rumoured to get a lot of shit down that microphone from Vince, but now Vince is, you know, off on a golf course somewhere. I don't know if he plays golf, but let's assume he does. Michael Cole perhaps has been freed to be himself a bit.
I hope so. It sounded like it. It was better commentary.
It did. And that started to come through in this match. I loved how invested he got with
his friend. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that was just a nice, simple storytelling. You know, it's how you would be if your mate was having a match like this. You'd get invested, and you'd be what's the word? Not you'd be one-sided. You know?
Biased. Yeah. Well, it was similar to when the King was in the ring and JR would commentate, going, you know, my friend or whatever. Yeah, I agree. I did like that,
and I think the commentary made the match better as well. And that's what good commentary should do for me: is make what you're watching, elevate it. You know, elevate the match. So yeah, Pat McAfee won this match by pinfall. McAfee punting Corbin in the balls behind the ref's back. I thought that was great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Again, I did enjoy it, but just with everything that happens like this, I take it less and less seriously. And I want to take wrestling a little bit seriously.
Punt to the balls. Next up, we got Drew McIntyre addressed the crowd with Angela, and kind of like sold the Clash at the Castle premium live event that's coming up. And you know, he was going to face either Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns. That PLE. That's going to take some time to get used to saying PLE. Forgive me if it does sound shit. But yeah, a nice little kind of 5-minute promo from Drew. Got him on the card, didn't it? And kind of hyped his appearance. And we got some nice pyro as well.
I honestly thought that was... Sorry if there's some noise in the background. I think it's the local campsite has got some sort of singer on. I think there's a premium live event at the local campsite. So I apologise for any noise in the background.
That's okay.
That was the most interested and invested I've been in Drew for ages when he came out and did that. I'm sick as... I don't like seeing Drew in his pants. He's so big, it looks weird seeing him in those pants. And like just battling with Sheamus and all that sort of stuff. You know, I was so behind him back in the day. Whereas this, when he came out in his T-shirt and he seemed a bit more himself, I quite liked it. It seemed quite real, quite genuine. I was like, maybe... Yeah. I still don't feel that he's at Roman and Brock level, which I think he was back then, but he's just been so muddled around in that mid-shuffle for so long, hasn't he?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I got invested in him in that little promo, and I was pleased he did it.
Yeah. Next up, we had the Undisputed Tag Team Championship match. The Street Profits versus the champs, the Usos. With Jeff Jarrett as special guest referee, of course. How could we forget? Local homeboy, Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, what a shit.
Yeah, I don't understand. I've never understood the logic of... I mean, the whole angle around this was... There was a dodgy call in their previous title match.
Yeah.
Where the Usos didn't... Uso B didn't have his shoulder down. No, sorry.
No, it was one of the Profits.
Yeah, Montez Ford didn't have his shoulder down.
Yeah.
So the storyline transpired, well, our professional referees must be so shit. Let's bring in someone who probably last refereed a match, I don't know, 30 years ago, possibly.
And most people hate. I hate Double J. He's so horrible.
I just didn't understand the storyline logic behind it. That's where I mean, I don't mind Jeff Jarrett as a person or a character, but yeah, just the logic of it was piss poor for me.
I find him sleazy and slimy.
Do you?
Yeah, but I remember back in the day when they'd have things like this, and they'd have a ref from Raw and a ref from SmackDown, both in the ring, doing it, and that was quite fun.
Well, that's a more logical way of doing it, Jimmy.
Yeah, but they'd have a bit of an argument here and there and stuff. It was,
Not bringing someone with less refereeing skills than a professional referee. It just didn't make sense.
No, I agree.
Or
you bring in an enforcer. You bring in your Mike Tyson or whatever to... Not Mike Tyson, obviously, because when he came to AEW, he fell asleep on the side of the ring. He's probably had a lot of mushrooms. But, I mean, they could bring in an enforcer each. They could have brought Rikishi and... I don't know. Someone on the Profit side. They could have brought, I don't know, some big fucking dude. Would have been good. Maybe Farouk. That'd have been cool. Bit of Ron Simmons.
Damn! Yeah.
Yeah, have him in there. Have some enforcers. That'd have been cool.
Yeah, nice. I like it. But don't get me wrong, the match, I really enjoyed this match. I could watch.
Brilliant.
I love these two teams. They've had great matches in the past. It didn't live up to their Money in the Bank match for me, but still great. Still great. Two great teams. I think it'll be sad if they do split up the Street Profits. I still think there's some mileage there from this team. You know, give them a nice long championship run, I think, before you split them up.
I agree. I mean, the Usos have never been better, have they? They've never been this good. They've got their characters down. They look good. They've even lost a bit of some of that weight they had around their belly. That, you know, and this part of this faction, the Bloodline's brilliant. The Street Profits, I agree. But we both said it, and I've been saying it for probably about 12 months, that Montez is, I think, maybe the future of WWE. He is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And he's bulked up, like I gave him the advice to on this show. He clearly listened and bulked up like I said he should.
Yep.
He's good with his mouth. I think they need to lose the paper cups. They need to stop doing adverts for... What do they do adverts for? They have them doing like promo adverts when they're sponsored by Snickers.
Oh,
they have all that shit.
It's
fuck all that off and let's get serious. Look, that's why the Usos are so good now, because they got serious.
Yeah.
And like Stone Cold always says that. He goes, you know, if you want to be... He had a brilliant Broken Skull sessions with Sammy. And Sammy said, like, I thought, like, you know, like you, Steve... I needed to get serious if I wanted to get to the top, and now I've realised I'm never going to get to the top, but I'm happy with what I've done. I'm happy with this, and like I think he's right to get to the top. There's no joke people at the top, is there? Stone Cold, Rock, Shawn Michaels, Triple H. I mean, they've done jokey stuff, but then they get fucking serious, and they.
Yeah, or it's after the fact, you know, like with Stone Cold, he'd peaked. You know, he kind of then started playing guitar.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. Yeah, I think that comes down to you've got to see some. If you want to be a champion, people have got to be able to believe that you can beat everyone else on that roster. I think.
Yeah.
People have got to buy into that, and I don't think you can do that if you're in clown makeup, for example.
Exactly.
Unless it's like a Joker type gimmick you're doing.
And I agree with you that they've got loads of legs as a tag team. They're great. But I just think he's got the potential to go to the top. And
definitely. And let's not dismiss Big AD, Big Angelo Dawkins.
He's good. He's good, but I don't find him as exciting.
No, I don't think he has the same potential level as Montez.
No. I don't know what you do with Angelo if Montez goes. That is the problem. I don't know what you do with him. I think he'd shuffle around in the mid card and then maybe sort of 24/7 champ it and disappear.
Yeah, he'd probably end up doing a comedy angle, you know, like a Rosie or something like that.
Yeah, and then team up with Jim the Anvil Neidhart or whatever. It's I know he's dead. It's a shame. Or
That's a twist.
You know, my hope is, I don't know if I said this before, but my hope is he gets injured severely and becomes and becomes a manager, because then they can go to the top together. Wow. But I think that's the only way they go to the top.
He can cling on to Montez's heels. Yeah.
If as soon as that happens, when they get split up, he should go, I've really hurt my leg. Can I be his manager, please? Because otherwise he's just dropping down the card.
Start limping. And then he could turn the limp into some kind of pimp walk.
Yes. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Go really old school.
Style it out.
That's what they racism.
Should do. Yeah. Actually, Vince isn't in charge anymore, is he? So that probably wouldn't be a suggestion.
I would have liked the Godfather to be their enforcer as well. He would have been a good enforcer.
Oh, that would have been a good one, yeah. As Papa Shango, though.
I miss Papa Shango.
So do I, man. So do I. The Usos retain their titles, which for me made the most sense. You know, the Usos continue to dominate, which hopefully pays off in the future when someone topples them. And, you know, you continue to tease that Street Profits discordance, giving them a bit more depth to their personal story. So yeah, I wasn't disappointed by the result. It was fine. Next up, sadly, we got the news that they were going to push the Riddle and Seth Rollins match to the next pay-per-view. So we were kind of umming and ahhing about what were they going to do. The storyline was that Riddle was injured. Riddle rushed the ring after the tag match and, said, come on, Seth, challenge Seth to have their match right here, right now. Out popped Rollins, who stormed the ring looking like Austin Powers, strangely, an orange ruff on his shirt. It was something. And then he gave... he curb stomped Riddle, and that was kind of a bit disappointed with that. I was hoping for something a bit more for Seth, but I guess it pushes on the storyline and moves that on to the next. I wonder why they decided to move it. Perhaps they felt at that time the Clash at the Castle card was a bit light. I don't know, but I don't know.
How do you feel about Riddle?
Oh yeah, I think he might have lost. I think with Randy, I think he's great. I think he misses Randy quite a lot because I think Randy brings. I think they genuinely do work quite well together. It's an odd coupling, but it seems to work.
Yeah,
and I think it's Randy being the straight man and Riddle just being like the goofy stoner. There's something about that kind of relationship that works.
I completely agree. Again, it's not like... I don't think Riddle can get to the top if he's being the goofy stoner. You know, I think Riddle's serious because he's legit, which I love about him.
Yeah.
And I want him to put some fucking shoes on. I used to hate it when Rusev fought barefoot. Yeah. I was so happy when he eventually put some shoes on. I can't take a shoeless man seriously. But I agree, you know, I think he's great with Randy, and when he came down, I did like his passion and his aggression.
Yeah.
Saying Rollins, come down here, you. I did enjoy that. So I'm pleased they got on the card just to say hello, you know.
Oh, well, that's more of the serious side coming out, isn't it? You know, like you say, it's Riddle kind of, I don't know, taking on more of a Randy persona, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, the penultimate match on the card was the SmackDown Women's Championship match. The champ, Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey. This is an interesting one because I've read this get quite a bit of shit online, but this was genuinely one of my this is one of the matches I really enjoyed. It's almost one of my favourite of the night.
Right.
Only because I thought it told an interesting story. Because, you know, Ronda Rousey versus Liv Morgan, that's only going to go one way. You know, bless her. I mean, Liv is great, and we enjoyed her winning the title at Money in the Bank. But
loved it.
She shouldn't be going over Ronda Rousey, should she? Really, not at this stage. So I think the way they did it was probably one of the only ways they could have done it. In the fact that, you know, Rousey was dominant throughout, like multiple arm bars on poor Liv Morgan. You know, it seemed inevitable that Ronda was going to win.
Yes. And
that's what I like, the fact that they then twisted that, and they again, the commentary played a good part in kind of selling that the challenge faced by Liv Morgan. But I like how they twisted it, and Rousey puts another armbar on Liv Morgan, and kind of Liv gets some leverage, and Rousey's shoulders down and gets the lucky pinfall victory. What I maybe didn't like was the tapping as well at the same time. I maybe would have not done that. I would have maybe just have Liv get that kind of leverage, that kind of fluky win over Rousey. I don't know. The only kind of disappointment for me was them then showing the replay multiple times of Liv tapping at the same time that the pin was going. I don't think that made her look strong. Whereas I think if she'd just got the leverage win, I think that would have been okay. People would have accepted that a lot more.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Stu. As I say a lot, I think she looks like an incredibly weak champion. As I said, I loved her winning the Money in the Bank because it was a real underdog thing, and I loved her cashing in and winning by chance. But ultimately, it's like watching just a normal woman get into the ring with Ronda Rousey. Yeah. It's not like watching a wrestler get into the ring with Ronda Rousey. Like, it's weird. Like, how is the champion a bit of bait going into a ring against Ronda? I know you get some cowardly heels who win the belt by chance, but your babyface is a pussy.
I think they've got to start to legitimise her a bit now.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they're going to do that with her facing Shayna Baszler. It feels
is that like what she's got?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. I don't know. Does she do it again? Is it another fluky victory for Liv? They can't take it off her, surely.
What do you do? I think you take her off TV. I think she loses. I think she should lose to Shayna, give the belt up, get her off TV for 6 months, have her go off and do training with someone.
Ah, okay, yeah. Training, yes, like a montage.
Anything, just to build her up, get her a bit musclier. She looks so weak. So weak. It's not good.
It's an interesting one. I don't know where you go from here. I don't know where Liv goes from here. I don't know how you, legitimise her as a champ, or...
I don't think she can be a champ. When you've got people like Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Flair, Asuka. I mean, she can't be much smaller than Becky Lynch, but why does Becky Lynch come across so more legit than her?
I think it's a confidence thing. Perhaps
I think it is, yeah.
Like her performance. She can be a bit weak on the mic. I think if she was a bit more, I don't know, self-confident. I don't know what it is with Liv. I mean, I love her now. I think she's good in the ring. I don't think her mic skills are great, and perhaps that's what it is.
I mean, Bliss is smaller than Liv, I think, but Bliss still comes across more like she could go a bit.
Yeah, she's got massive charisma, though, hasn't she? I'd say Bliss. Perhaps that is what it is. That's all it boils down to. She needs to make herself believable. I don't know.
But I think she should lose the belt and then go off and train. Come back with like a shaved head,
mohawk,
and just come back as a nutter. Come back as a fucking nutter, and like in DMs and a white vest, and just come in and beat the shit out of people.
Yeah, perhaps it's a character, right? Perhaps it is a presentation of her character. Perhaps she needs a new gimmick. I don't know.
I found her more interesting when she was in the So Solid crew. What were they called? The three of them. The Riot Squad.
Yeah,
because at least then she was doing her sort of like blue tongue sort of.
Yeah,
that was a character. It was more like a comic book character, and you go, "Well, that comic book character could be strong. Who knows?" But now I just see pretty much a standard person get in the ring.
a norm,
a rando.
What did What did Cornette call them? No, sorry, not Cornette. Russo. Russo called them. Damn it! It'll come to me at some point.
Called who?
Yeah. You know when you get like a local jobber come in for a squash match. I can't remember. What you
Ham
didn't
and
call
egger?
them. No, I can't remember.
That's an old term, isn't it? Ham and egger.
Yeah.
Oh, I could go some ham and eggs.
Last up, Jimmy, match 8, the last man standing match, WWE Undisputed Championship, Brock Lesnar versus the champ, Roman Reigns, for one last time.
My boy. I'm a country boy. I'm a farmer boy.
Of course.
Me and Brock.
First thoughts on my notes were how damn long the entrances were. They were long. Roman takes so long to get to the ring.
I ain't got a problem with that. I like a long entrance. Builds up. I think AEW's entrances aren't long enough. Sometimes the music just cuts off like someone's pressed pause on a CD. Build it up. Do you remember Flair? How good was that music?
Yeah. I mean, speaking of entrances, Lesnar took the time to come halfway down the ramp, but stop, retreat, and get some flannels like yourself, straw cap, and a tractor. And
brilliant.
Drove a tractor to the ring.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good.
Yeah,
I loved
spot on.
I loved it.
And the tractor played a prominent role in the match as it went on. First off, it's to start with, Lesnar got up, raised the bucket, got on top of it, and was stood there as the ring announcer announced both entrants in the match. There's a lovely gif going around the internet where Lesnar introduced himself.
Lovely.
And he then threw the mic down to Roman, and then Roman just kind of nonchalantly caught it in his hands and gave a wink to Brock. That was a nice moment.
Yeah, I think that was a shoot, to be honest, when he winked. It seemed like nice. It was. It did. Yeah, that seemed genuine, didn't it? It was lovely.
Yeah.
Roman did his bit.
A question for you: do you like last man standing matches?
Yeah, I don't mind them. Don't love them, but don't mind them.
There's something about them. It just when you've done your move on your opponent and then you have to just wait for the count of 10. It's just something about the flow with them doesn't really.
I know what you mean. I think it depends what you do. You know, if like in that 10 seconds, if you jumped up onto a turnbuckle and sat there and waited, and then I think you've got to sell that time and everything. I think you've got to be entertaining whilst they're just laying down. You've got to do different things. You've got to sell all of that.
Yeah.
So I think it can come down to the people in the match, really.
Yeah, that's fair.
But Brock, when the match started, leaping off the... It was
he did dive off it, didn't it? Yeah.
He jumped off it. He weighs, 365 or something? Jesus, that must be. He's a big fucking guy. And he jumped off the bucket and landed on Roman. And it was brilliant.
Yeah.
He had no need or right to do that.
I'd forgotten about that. I mean, that's what you want. I always used to say this on Botchcasts of old, that, you know, when you've got one of these kind of a big end of feud matches, you don't want them to start off and go into a collar and elbow or headlock or something like that. You want them to just start leathering each other. That's what makes it believable. Yeah. If they just start going hell for leather, but and this was like that. It was great.
Brilliant. Yeah, I loved seeing him jump. As I say, like, there was no need for Brock to jump off a bucket, off of a tractor, off a digger. And you know he wouldn't do it if he didn't want to do it.
No, exactly.
But clearly he was happy to do it, and I love Brock. He's my favourite superstar in WWE. If I'm going to watch a match, if said who's good, what you want it, I want Brock versus most people. Most people. Oh, I'd like that. And then the match kicked on, and I thought the match was great. I thought it was really good. It was, you know, Roman as a heel, Brock as the face, sort of, you know, and the Usos got involved. And obviously a big moment. When did Brock pick up Heyman?
That was that before the tractor spot or after? I can't remember. I think it might have been before.
Yeah, I think it was. Brock Lesnar picked up Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman must weigh a good 300 pounds and must have been terrified up there because he's not young and he's massively out of shape, and he got F5'd onto the fucking announce desk. That was brilliant because I think Paul took an F5 a little while ago in the ring, but usually if Paul gets, if Paul's going to get picked up, he's probably going to get saved, isn't he? So that was great watching him go for that announce desk. I didn't see that coming.
No, and that's a good point. But I more than that moment, I loved the moment just before then, where at this point they'd been going for like 15, 20 minutes, just Lesnar and Reigns just throwing literally everything at each other, and then up pops Paul Heyman and just says, right, gives Lesnar the belt, says, Brock, just take them. Yeah. You win, just take them. And then at that point, Brock just, like you say, puts him through the table. Yeah.
That was brilliant. I think it was easily their best match, or most entertaining match.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Because obviously we had the big moment where Lesnar got back in the tractor, the digger, and at this point I was like, what the hell is he going to do? Yeah. I did think he might hold Roman down with the bucket. Yeah. I thought that might come. But what did he do, Stu?
Oh, he proceeded to lower the bucket. He reversed. Yeah. Lowered the bucket and just kept going. Bucket went under the ring, started pushing the ring. Roman was in the ring at this point, and then he raised the bucket. And obviously the ring then kind of pivoting on one corner, and in a lovely moment, Roman just kind of sausage rolled his way out the ring.
Yeah. Oh, I was like, I popped massively for that, man. I don't care when people go, oh, what's the gimmick? It's like, no way. I've never seen that happen before. I've never seen a ring lifted like that before. And afterwards, they're wrestling outside, and the ring is still at an angle, like it looks like it's glitched in a computer game.
Yeah,
You've got this heel of a ring going, what the hell?
It was good. It was a great moment, and it was a memorable moment. It's a SummerSlam moment, isn't it? That's one of those things that WWE does so well. They'll have a moment, and that'll be in video packages going forward.
Used to do so well. That's the first time I've seen something like that in a while. That's got to go down. That's got to go down there with the beer truck and the milk truck and that sort of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then is that when we had Austin come in? Austin Theory? Sorry,
yes.
Theory.
So there is the melee continues outside the ring as it has to at this point. I think both men are kind of down at this point, and out pops Theory. I forgive me, I forget the exchange that what happens, but he's unsuccessful in his cash in.
Yeah, he got taken out, didn't he? He didn't do too well, and what? Of course, he's not going. Like when I saw him, he's in good shape. But you can't put him coming in to Brock and Roman.
Nah.
As if.
No, exactly. It's not believable. It's not believable.
Like, Seth was bigger. And at that point, Seth was on a similar level to these guys. And even though these guys were bigger in stature, there was still that believability, and Roman wasn't what he is now. When Roman says, I'm in God mode, he is. Like, he's Rock, it's Rock and Stone Cold, like they're up there. And if you was gonna you just have this guy who's he's a bit of a fucking nobody. Like, he's a good wrestler, but
he's not that tier. He's not God tier. He's not I don't know what tier he is, but it's not believable that he would successfully cash that in, regardless if Roman's been run over by a tank or whatever it is.
Not at all. And he didn't cash it in the end, did he? He came down with it, but he got smacked out quite quickly.
He did.
And then how did they beat Brock in the end? Did they throw everything on him? I can't quite remember.
So I think it was like I think he took multiple spears from Reigns. Yeah. It was title shots, wasn't it? Roman just kept pummeling him with belt shots to the head. Yeah. And Brock was, he kept getting up at either 8 or 9 or thereabouts. And he just kept coming and coming. The belt shots kept coming and coming. He went down, and then Reigns and the Usos just piled lots of rubble on top of Brock, like chairs, tables, whatever, and ultimately he succumbed to the 10 count, and Roman retained.
Yeah, that was it. I thought it was great. I thought it was great. It was a
yeah.
massacre. It was a war, wasn't it? With everything, they threw everything out the kitchen sink, and I thought it was great fun. And for me, I was like, wow, if this is a result of Triple H coming back, keep it coming.
Do you know, it felt like it was billed as the final match, and the way it transpired, it felt like it really was. It felt like, in a weird way, I likened it in my mind to the end game of kind of this feud. Like, it's just so kind of huge and spectacular, and it was a war, like you say. Yeah, it felt like it was a perfect end to the story of these two guys. It really did. Yeah.
And they should probably take Brock off for a while now, shouldn't they?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we never saw him again, to be honest. That could be him done. I don't know. He seemed quite aligned to Vince. There was rumours that he walked out on the SmackDown following Vince's retirement.
No, yeah, he did. He came back.
Yeah,
I think he said if he's out, I'm out.
Yeah,
and left. But he did come back to do his thing. But
I don't know what his mindset is at this point. But yeah, it was. In terms of the pay-per-view overall, PLE overall, did you enjoy it, Jimmy? Was it a good one for you? Yeah,
I did. There was a few slow moments, but overall I thought it was great fun. And this is what we say, isn't it? We watch it because it's a big, lovely big event. I don't care what's going on in the background. I don't give a shit. Yeah. I don't care if Vince is paying off secretaries because he's slept. I don't care. Christ, everything that's going on in Hollywood is all seeped in awfulness. In probably every company there's horrible things going on everywhere, but yeah, I'm not going to let that not let me enjoy things. Like you can be, you gotta have some fun.
Yeah. Quite. No, yeah. Obviously, I don't. You don't like to hear the stories, and obviously we don't personally agree with what's happened. But I think you're right. There has to be some separation between Vince and the WWE as an entity, I think.
Yeah. I don't care that he's had an affair. What do I care? It's nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with the wrestlers putting their lives on the line every night for my entertainment. Them getting paid.
So all in all, a good pay-per-view for both of us. Next up, we have Clash at the Castle, which is at time of recording on the 12th of August. I think it's 2 or 3 weeks away. So not
the 12th of August. Today's the 12th. Yeah.
Yes.
I was like,
what? You're like, what? Tonight? What are we doing? So that'd be interesting to see. At the first stadium show in the UK for 30 years. And the build up to that, like I say, the weekly TV shows have been quite good. Not massive changes, as I've alluded to, since Triple H has taken on the creative role, but there's returns, and it feels like people are being moved into spots, which could be quite interesting. Yeah. So I look forward to seeing what comes of all that in the run up to that PLE. Right, Jimmy, should we call it a day?
Absolutely.
A night?
Call it a day.
A date. Thank you for that. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Jimmy. It's nice to talk wrestling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Apologies we did get this out late. You were going to record it last week, but
life gets in the way.
Life does get in the way, So hope you've enjoyed it. If you have liked what you've seen, then do give us a like and subscribe. We'll bring you a Botchcast after Clash at the Castle, I suspect. So until then, please take care and goodbye.